Christmas jumpers are a fun novelty that people like to wear around Christmas time. They can be gaudy and silly and even considered ugly. Yet, they are Christmas jumpers all the same. However, the origins of these festive fluffy things are more recent than you might think. But first, some history. The Christmas jumper is a direct descendant of the knitted Nordic jumpers and other commodities. They can be dated back to as far as the 1500s in Norway and other Nordic countries. These were primarily made from the wool of Icelandic sheep who could survive the bitter cold with their excellent wool. The original jumpers are called literally meaning wool sweater. They were worn by fishermen and other tradesmen across the Nordic lands who needed to stay warm while working in the catastrophically cold climate. Eventually, they slowly but surely started to gain global popularity throughout the 1930s, as they were ideal for holidays to colder climates, especially for celebrities going skiing, which was popular at the time due to it being seen as a healthy holiday, which was increasingly important in the wake of an influenza outbreak. Finally, in the 1950s, they were further embraced by their Nordic creators when Iceland reinvented them as a sign of their country's individuality. Then, in the 80s, the Christmas variant began to bloom internationally. This is mostly because of the relationship between two British men, Giles Brandreth and George Hostler. Brandreth was a TV presenter in the 80s, and also a Conservative MP. He hosted various shows and appeared as guests on others. These included such things as Puzzle Party, Countdown, and more recently, Numberwang. No, really. While on these shows, Brandreth would wear interesting jumpers. These were bespoke and made by a friend by the name of George Hostler. Hostler operated out of Leicester, at Leicester Polytechnic to be exact, which later became De Montfort University. He was originally a sculptor, and after finding success in that field, he turned to fashion, which led to a career in knitting. According to Brandreth, he would call or send postcards to Hostler with requests. Hostler would then promptly post the finished artefacts back to him in London. This allowed Brandreth to wear a different jumper for every appearance. These jumpers soon became quite fashionable and were even worn by the royal people actually liked, Princess Diana. And of course, like in that one book and show about the wolves and the walls and all that, winter eventually comes. Brandreth started wearing Christmas-themed versions of Hostler's jumpers during the winter season. Thus, a sunny spark was, indeed, well, sparked. Similar Christmas jumpers appeared on other hosts of other shows, from The Late Late Show to The Late Toy Show. Sidebar, if all of the shows are late, then none of them are. Eventually, they properly burst into the mainstream, and by the 2000s, they were a part of pop culture you couldn't escape. They were hung in every Primark and even on runway models. They even featured as jokes and plot points in movies like Bridget Jones. Nowadays, there's an official Christmas jumper day. This year, it is December 10th. This is a day popularised by Save the Children, which is a charity focused on ending child poverty. It's all about wearing a goofy little jumper and giving to charity. So whatever the history and whatever your opinion on these gaudy gifts, I think we can agree that's pretty nice. I will link to Save the Children down below so you can find out more and maybe even donate. It is the season of giving after all. Merry Christmas.